I get up on stage in front of people, all I can think about is, what if they laugh at me? You, man, you're fearless. I want to feel that too.
I don't care. I'll do it. You and me, we both have this dream.
Yeah, I guess we do.
That we'll be famous. We'll show them. Watch out, here we go. To be or not to be?
It's not gonna happen for you. Not in a million years.
But after that, this town, Greg, they don't want me.
Wish we could just make our own movie.
That great idea.
Everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Put your opinions in your pockets. We're talking about the disaster artist, Christy Ben Alonzo. What is this thing?
Oh, hi. Oh, hi. Hi, doggy. So there's a movie called The Room, which is notoriously the worst movie ever made. And it has delighted audiences at midnight screenings for years here in Los Angeles.
And around the world.
And around the world. Thank God. Tommy Wiseau, man of the world, international man of mystery, has found a way to get The Room around the world. So The Room is terrible. And The Disaster Artist is based on the book about the making of The Room, which is terrible. But really, it is just like a love letter to the process. There's the creative struggle with James Franco directing and starring as the mad scientist Tommy Wiseau, and his brother Dave Franco plays the co-star in the movie. And they basically just recreate The Room, and it's hilarious. Take a look.
Nobody respect my vision. You are a villain. I do this whole movie for you, Greg. You are tearing me apart, Lisa.
Cut?
Why you cut, Sandy? This is great. This is real acting.
If you're gonna writhe around with the dress, maybe do it before you shoot yourself in the head and blow your brains out.
I disagree.
You really gonna make this thing?
We are going to go together.
I was an early Room adopter.
Yes.
And
An adopter in what way? Like you should see it, it's fun. Like
yeah, like I saw it after the sort of initial four-walled run, but before the midnight one started, and I was like, what the hell? Because the screening I went to, we had that billboard was in Los Angeles forever, so like we knew this thing existed, but we didn't know what it was.
What is it?
What is it? So I managed to get into a screening, and everybody else there was really excited already, and I thought, oh God, have I stumbled into some weird like Scientology recruitment thing? But no, these were people who had seen the movie and knew what they were in for, and they just immediately started yelling back at the screen and like having this sort of interaction with the film. And I was like, oh my God, here's a movie with, like Rocky Horror had Fox behind it. This is a movie with this one guy behind it, and it already has generated this sort of crazy like cult to it. And so it's been fascinating to watch that phenomenon unfold over the years. And so now to see, well, then there was the book, The Disaster Artist, which is great. And now this movie, which is a lot more affectionate than you think it would be. Like it could be so easy to punch down on this story, but it's like Ed Wood, which I think it's inevitably going to be compared to. It's about the dream of Hollywood and the dream of pursuing your vision and telling your story, even if it's crap.
Yeah, no, I mean, and James Franco, who famously, came to fame and acclaim by really, digging in and bringing James Dean to life. I mean, he's done this again with Tommy Wiseau, who has a million quirks, who has this bizarre voice and this bizarre hair and this bizarre look about him, and he totally recreates it. But again, it's not making fun of him. There's great affection for, the daring to dream.
The drive,
and the fact that in that first screening, that first premiere of it, his film does not in any way get received the way he hoped it would. And since then, of course, there's been this whole pivot of like, oh, it's always meant to be a dark comedy, which is not.
Yeah, and the movie does kind of fudge that part. Like it takes the process of several months and puts it into one night of like, nope, it's a joke now.
He figured it out for the back of the room. Yeah, so I have also seen The Room, not as many times as Alonzo has. I watched it first on DVD at home in preparation for doing a story about So Bad They're Good movies where I interviewed Tommy Wiseau, and I'm really glad I saw it at home first, because if you go and see it, people are already shouting the lines out and they're throwing spoons at the screen, and you don't know why.
It's hard to keep up.
So anyway, it's infinitely quotable once you have seen it. But Ben, you have not seen it, so I'm dying to hear what you think about this movie.
So a couple things. One, I had not seen it. I'd never heard of it.
No, not prior to this.
When was it released?
2003.
So the weird thing is that this is how, because in my home, if my wife puts up a new painting and she puts it like above our bed, I can go months without recognizing it. So, and I'm not kidding. That's true. I just don't notice I'm not. Visually, I'm not stimulated.
And you never take Highland to Sunset going north?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I did. So I've
billboard
clearly
was.
passed the billboard, but it just didn't. It didn't land, and nobody talked to me about it, right? If one of you had done your job,
next time.
So you guys told me, as the disaster artist was coming, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. You asked, "Hey, don't."
Yeah.
All you said was, "Oh no, it's based on this movie, The Room," but.
Don't see it.
Don't see it. So look, when somebody tells me not to do something, I'm on it, and so I didn't. But it didn't matter as far as enjoying this movie.
Okay.
No, you instantly know that this is okay. All right, he's creating because you said that they don't make fun of Tommy. But why I think it works is that in the beginning it does make fun of Tommy a little bit when he's in the early screening with with Melanie Griffith. They have some great Sharon Stone, Melanie Griffith show up in the disaster.
As his agent.
Yeah, Sharon Stone's his agent, Melanie Griffith's his acting teacher, and he throws himself from streetcar. He's across the Stella, and it's like he's being stabbed. Well, and it's definitely making fun of him, right? But why it works then is that you stop making fun of him, you become the way all these people were, because the Dave Franco character reaches out to him. Because he's paralyzed by fear, right? He could never have done that, even though people are making fun of him. He's like, God, that guy sold it, man. He did it, and I'm timid and afraid. So we stopped making fun of him. You learn, which I think made it work better. That look, man, this guy, he may seem weird, he may seem quirky, but man, give it a chance, and you'll meet someone extraordinary in many ways, and that I think is why that worked.
He's authentic. He is who he is.
Totally,
Completely. Totally bizarre. That's who he is.
And even though we don't know who that person is in a lot of ways, he remains a mystery.
He's got an accent, as you say. Look, and we don't know anything. We still don't. Many people don't know.
I do see Tommy at my post office a lot.
Okay.
Oh, you do?
And I think James Franco really nails it.
Man, there's a video apparently of them interviewing each other.
Oh, funny.
Franco's in character.
Franco
as Tommy?
in character as Tommy, and then at the end of one thing they did. So there's I love behind the scenes Hollywood movies when they're good. I love. But box office numbers will tell us that there is frequently an inaccessibility with those movies to a mainstream audience, that they're less interested in it. This I can't imagine people not finding accessible. Was that Jackie Weaver, right?
That's Jackie Weaver.
So Jackie Weaver has this incredible line when they're eating lunch. And they're eating lunch. They don't know what movie they're making. It's a disaster. They know it's a disaster that they're in. They don't know what it is. They're all just in it. I met a guy last night whose friend was in it, and she was like, "Yeah, I just wanted." She thought, I'll get a scene. I'll get 40 seconds for my reel. That's all it is, right? And she had no idea that it would become this thing that she's both proud of and mortified that she's in. But they're eating lunch, and she says, they're all like, what are we doing? What are we here? And she goes, why do you drive 50 miles in? And she says, because the worst day on set making a movie is better than every other day. Right, and words to that effect, and that and that is the spirit which this captures. Right,
yeah, no, it's earnest. Yeah, I'm pleased to hear that you were able to get into it because I walked out thinking you will not get this if you've not seen the room.
Nope.
Having said that, at the end during the credits, they show side by side how meticulously they recreated individual scenes, and Ari Grainer is the queen of lining up her
Juliet. I'm blanking on her name, but Lisa.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. So, but when they show it side by side, she's dead on, the rhythm and the inflection, and it's so. They give you an opportunity to see how close they are.
And off camera, you've got Seth Rogen and Paul Scheer, who are both very funny in this, I think. But yeah, somebody was saying
Seth Rogen produced it too.
Yes, right. Somebody was saying that there's so much in this film. So much recreation of The Room that they hope that basically Franco remade the entire thing and that it's going to be a DVD.
Well, maybe because but what's interesting is that again, don't get discouraged. This movie, The Disaster Artist, does not bring you The Room, right? It is about the making of The Room around it. We really only see maybe the end. I guess you see recreated. And you see that one wonderful scene of Tommy's first line that he keeps blowing again and again. Right. But that exists sort of outside of it.
I did not see it. I did not. Juliet Danielle. I want to be clear that that's her name.
But significantly, this is not a movie that includes many scenes from The Room. Those really only exist at the end after you've seen it, where they show you, hey, look what we did. And look, so it seems to me they shot most of those scenes. I'm wondering if they shot them fully aware that they probably weren't going to be in the main body of the movie, but we're going to exist here at the end.
Yeah,
because it works much better that way. I think that also, if there had been 8 scenes from The Room recreated and I didn't know what that was, that might have separated me from the movie a little bit. That may have made it a little less accessible, and so they didn't until the end. And then at the end, I couldn't. I was like, no, more of this, more. Show me more of these scenes that I don't know. So you don't have to have seen The Room.
I'm pleased to hear that. So having said that, though, will you now go back and watch The Room? Like, are you now inspired?
Yeah, if people
to go
tell me. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll watch.
I will bring my DVD over.
My first thought was not to. It's apparently on YouTube, but it's I guess probably bad quality.
Yeah, because The Room looks so great. Otherwise,
oh yeah, you really want to.
He shot it twice.
He shot it simultaneously in 35 and in digital, so he could decide later what he was going to.
Because he has limited amount of money, unlimited amount of money.
That's
So
another question as to where Tommy's money comes from.
We still don't know.
His vampire ancestors.
Right, and I guess he kept a billboard up for years.
For a long time.
And now there is a billboard of the disaster artist at the exact same spot on Highland.
Right,
With James Franco making that face, and apparently if you call the number, you might get James Franco on the phone.
Yeah, so let's
give
call
it a
him.
shot.
Okay, well, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it's got a great energy to it, and it's about
So real quick, I was going to say, do you?
Yeah,
should I see it alone first? Is that the way?
No.
Or should
I would never have recommended that. You should at least see it with other people.
Right.
Maybe don't go to a midnight
watched it with
show
my husband.
where everyone's pelted up. Okay, yeah, but you
wasn't
have
by
to
myself on
you
the
have to have
couch.
somebody to talk to. Be like, am I seeing what I'm? This is the thing. Yeah.
Watch it at home.
I think I want to go to a midnight show.
But my concern is that you're not going to be able to understand what they're saying because the dialogue is so great.
You'll
You
miss
need
a
to
lot
be
of
able
lines
to-
because people will be
people are
shouting
yelling
over it.
them, and there's a lot of laughter.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think it might be okay.
Okay.
I maybe a little low on this just because I'm so steeped in Rumiana that like I was like, hey, they left out the actor who left midway through and got replaced by somebody else who gets all of his lines of dialogue and it's never explained why. And the whole thing with rushing the premiere, the transition of the film to comedy. But I still liked it quite a bit.
Oh,
so.
God bless Bryan Cranston for showing up.
Oh God, yes.
At Cantor's.
A nice cameo.
So what's your number then?
7.8. I solidly entertaining. I'm glad to hear that you don't have to have seen The Room to see it, and yeah, you should check it out.
I'm saying 8.
Where am I?
You're 8.8.
Yeah, I love this movie. It's
Okay, great, awesome.
Fantastic,
So
yeah.
we are at 8.2. It's at 96% on the tomato meter. So.
And if you get the audio book of Greg Sestero's The Disaster Artist, he also does a dead-on Tommy Wiseau
He has a good
impersonation.
Tommy.
Yes, he does.
Yes. All right. So have fun. Bye.